Hello, my name is Diane Ross. Today we're going to talk about the driving force behind innovation, skill-based CTE. I'm the Education Development Manager here at RealityWorks. What we're going to talk about today is expecting more from your CTE programs and raising the bar, how to do that, and what the future will look like for your students. A little bit about Reality Works first. We're the Real Care Baby Company. You may have heard of us. We got started in 1993 when the co-founders, Rick and Mary Germain, were watching a television program that showed teenagers using eggs and flour sacks to simulate caring for an infant. Rick, who was a NASA engineer, commented that they didn't seem like they were good. Those were poor substitutes, rather, for real infants. There's no crying or waking up at night. By the end of '93, he had created the first prototype of what would be known as Real Care Baby. That's our premier and first product that we put out. That's what we're known for. But since then, we've moved into other areas in ag, trade skills, health science, and expanded our FACS program. Our experiential learning tools engage 21st century technical education students with authentic hands-on learning experiences focused on skill building through simulated experiences. So there's an opportunity before us. So, what is it that we're going to do? Are we going to expect more out of our programs? So, how did your CTE programs evolve? Did you hire a teacher with a specific skill set so they taught that? Or did you go out into the labor market where they showed that you needed a specific trained employee and you worked on that with that company? But for CTE programs to be successful, leaders must ask themselves not just whether the programs are producing adequate outcomes, but also whether CTE systems target the students who need them the most. So, where are your CTE courses headed? Are you using technology to get data? That's what students are going to be doing. They're also going to be analyzing that data and they're going to make decisions about next steps with that data. So we need to have skills tied to analyzing data to help prepare students for their futures. So this is a look at what you might use in your evaluation for your CTE programs. And there's a total of 26 different sections, everything from course syllabus, sequence, use of technology, professional development. That's an important component, right? There are a total of 26 sections. And when you get down to size, scope, and sequence, there's a little area called quality. And so the thing I'm wondering is, how are you measuring quality? What is a quality program? Again, we talked about, should we be measuring the outcomes of the program, or are we measuring how the students, are they getting what they need from the program? So quality is the measure of how successfully each program is able to teach all enrolled students workplace standards, competencies, and skills necessary for them to practice careers within their chosen field after graduation. Um, and you can read on about this. This is probably has similar verbiage in your evaluation as well. But so there are workplace standards that we want to have in there. There are competencies, and then also what about skills? The skills necessary to practice these careers, kind of where I'm going to focus today. So there's 12 components to a highly effective CTE program, everything from prepared and effective program staff, student assessment, but look in the middle here at these four: facilities, equipment, technology and materials, engaging instruction, standards aligned and integrated curriculum, access and equity, and student career development. So in the equipment, technology, and materials section, um, there's something that could be of concern to some of your teachers, and that's about simulated learning. Teachers may not be receptive to simulated learning. They didn't learn that way. Their fathers didn't learn that way, their mothers didn't learn that way, and they're not going to learn that way. They don't believe in the simulated learning style, and they're not going to advocate for that. But at the same time, we're talking about what your students need. They need engaging instruction that is aligned to the curriculum in order for them to practice skills they will encounter in their careers. It's not going to be the same world that the teachers perhaps came from. So, quality. One of the things I always like to look at is how far computers have come. One of the things that computers have done is become updated. Look at the monitors on these computers. When was the last time you had a monitor like that in your district? Quality is the measure of how successfully each program is to teach all enrolled students workplace standards, competencies, and skills necessary for them to practice careers within their chosen field after graduation. We have to have updated state of the art technology for students to get the proper data so that they can properly analyze. So we have an opportunity right now to raise the bar. So in our career pathways that we have within ag, trade skills, facts, let's talk a little bit first about health science. In the future, students are going to have to analyze data from wearables that patients are going to have. A lot of telehealth going to be in the future. Telehealth is emerging not just because people don't want to have to go into the doctor, but there are a lot of underserved communities in the United States. Hospitals have closed, and people have less access to healthcare. Telehealth is going to become something big. 5G, something that we're going to talk about in a little bit too, is going to help explode telehealth. But students are going to need to be able to read that data from those wearables. They're going to have to interpret and analyze that data so that they know exactly what to do next with it. When we started creating our healthcare simulations here at RealityWorks, we looked to the industry standards or what healthcare professionals look for in an educational training program, such as nursing. They told us they looked for the application of appropriate knowledge, the skills, behaviors that are also proficiently used in a clinical setting. So, how does this look in your school? Can you model that same kind of thing so that students have that appropriate knowledge of skills, behaviors, and then it's also done in that clinical setting? This is what a skills lab might look like that is fitted with simulations, allowing students to actually experience conditions such as what it's like to have had a stroke, what happens when a patient has diabetes, why foot care is so important for that. If a patient is bedridden, what does a pressure injury look like and how do you treat it, depending on the stage of the bed sore? Blood pressure. We talked a little bit about this, but every time a student takes another student's blood pressure, they're causing pressure to the student's arm, making it difficult to repeat this skill over and over. Plus, there could be privacy issues if another student has a blood pressure issue. Using simulation allows the student to practice, then be assessed on a variety of blood pressure results, and it allows the students to fully understand the skill involved in taking blood pressure. Our geriatric mannequins give students the experience of working as a certified nursing assistant with the elderly, from bathing to moving to even performing CPR on a human being. Plus, they get the idea of what it's like to be elderly and what their patients are going through themselves. Building a skills lab that is designed for your students to learn and to understand basic to more advanced skills will help prepare them for the true clinical experience. We have created the most commonly used and specified skills that are necessary to work toward industry recognized certifications. From our award winning ECG simulator to our innovative blood pressure simulator, students not only experience the how to and skills training, but they get to understand the why. They get to analyze the data. They understand why procedures must happen in a specified manner and what red flags might occur. Simulation allows students to experience real-world situations rather than just working on and with each other. Plus, they work on team building and other important clinical soft skills so that they are prepared to work on real people in a real clinical setting. Our simulations come with specified curriculum designed to help increase the skill of the student and is aligned with industry standards. So the Simulation and Skills Lab, many students feel that they are inadequately trained in history taking, physical examination, diagnosis, and management. Medical simulation has been proposed as a technique to bridge this educational gap. This is in clinical studies. In other areas of medical training, simulation's been demonstrated to lead improvements in medical knowledge, comfort, and procedures. Give them that deep understanding of analyzing data, improvements in performance during retesting in simulated scenarios. It's also been shown to be a reliable tool for assessing learners and for teaching topics such as teamwork and communication. So, what does the future student have to be able to do? What is it that we want them to understand? They've got to understand the science behind the technology. They have to be able to use digital technology to improve patient outcomes. Again, they're going to analyze data. I know I keep hammering that point, but it's a big, big deal in the healthcare industry for the future student. While experiencing clinical and patient care, it's more efficient for the provider and for the patient. They're getting better care, it's more quality. And to understand the relationship between the digital science and the medical science of healthcare, it's a true end to end, customer focused experience. The goal here is to allow students to experience real life situations in a safe learning environment. Before they go and touch actual human beings, they get to learn and understand that skill. One of the areas of innovation here at Reality Works is our ECG simulation. It's just one of many simulations we've created that will allow students to not only experience the how to place leads on a patient or the how to read specific heart rhythms, but we have created a place for students to learn about problems they will face in the real world. Students are exposed to modern technology designed to increase their knowledge and use of technology. They have the chance to understand a skill and practice it many times before touching a live patient. One of our newest simulators, the auscultation trainer, is unique among others because it includes real lung, heart, and bowel sounds that are both normal and abnormal. Students learn proper technique that will only allow them to hear the sounds if our innovative stethoscope is placed in the correct position. Students first learn what they are doing, then they can place a scan so they can practice as they would work in the real world. These are truly groundbreaking innovations designed to prepare your students for the real world and their careers down the road. We also offer a line of products aimed at increasing student employability skills and career development, helping them to see just beyond a job, but a lifetime career ladder. Let's talk a little bit about agriculture. How high tech can ag be these days? Pretty high tech. Many times, being on a farm is difficult for students to visit while they're in the classroom. When the farmer has time for your students, you're learning something else. When you want to return to the ruminant and used a butcher's cut a few weeks ago, well, that time has expired. Our products are designed to allow students to experience and understand skills such as cattle and pig breeding and the birthing process to produce and maintain healthy animals. This is a look at what a 21st century or a modern ag classroom might look like in your school. We work to prepare students for what they're going to see and face on the farm and in farming situations. This shows you what a 21st century simulation classroom might look like for ag science. Instead of bins of animal body parts soaking in formaldehyde, students can access and see animals in their true form. Students can practice birthing a calf and determining if the calf is in distress. They can practice artificial insemination, study the ruminant, and even practice giving a cow an injection. Many times, being on a farm is difficult. When the farmer has time, you're doing something else. This gives you the opportunity to visit these things as your students need to learn. One of our newest simulators is the bovine birthing and ultrasound simulator. Again, analyzing data here. It allows the student to care for a pregnant cow by conducting bovine ultrasound and birthing the calf. The simulator mimics the weight and movement of a newborn calf. The ultrasound simulates more than 20 situations, allowing the student to diagnose common issues. All comes with curriculum that helps students to better understand and to learn what's necessary in the real world as well as in their animal science classes. This simulation not only teaches students how a calf is born and the complications that can arise in the field, but it exposes them to modern technology that's becoming more commonplace on farms, in vet tech centers, and in universities. Our quest here is to show students what to expect before they touch the real thing. This allows the student to achieve a higher understanding of the skills and anatomy and to be prepared to work and practice these things in the real world. We had educators come to us and ask for our hydroponic systems. We offer three types that can be used in your classroom, including our plant lab educational system that allows students to perform experiments on nutrients, use of water, and other methods of growing so they have a deeper understanding of how plants react. We have a plant producer that allows students to grow food right in the classroom, as well as our mini hydroponics units that students can work in groups to learn more about how plants grow. From large farm animals to companion animals, we offer detailed anatomical models for vet tech programs. Trade skills. Let's move into that now. This is a modern welding program and how it might look. On the right there, you see the classroom part, and on the left, you would see the shop. Welding has traditionally been taught in a very dirty and scattered environment. Many teachers scramble to find scrap metal, rods, and even borrow old welding machines. But today's welding program includes simulations so that students can learn in the classroom the proper terms, procedures, and form before they enter the welding booth. So you see here on the right side, the computers that are hooked to welding simulation. You can see up on the screen that you can project actually the simulation onto the screen, use one of the machines as a instructional device as a teacher to demonstrate different positions and such. Then you might move into the shop where you have your welding booth connected to our in-helmet guidance. Let's go through that just for a second. So the welding simulation lab, this was in the classroom. See, you could have the teacher at the front of the room talking about reports. It does the 5 different muscle memory, um, such as straightness, work angle, travel angle, plate distance, and speed. So, also in the classroom, you could explore careers, have this foundational learning before they actually move into the welding booth, which will save you a lot on materials. Then, once you go into the welding booth, this could be your welding machines connected to our helmet and guidance system called GuideWeld Live. It has corrective guides, immediate feedback, classroom management right in the helmet. It's a one-of-a-kind solution for guidance inside the welding helmet during live welding. Teachers have told us it's like having an instructor in every booth because instead of the student running back and forth to the teacher asking questions, they can see how they're doing right in their helmet. Then you can have a visual weld inspection area. This is really good because as students weld, they'll bring their welds to the teacher and ask for, to critique the weld. This way, a student can self-assess their own welds with the welds defect kit, and then we also have the common welding joints kit too. So let's take a closer look at welding simulation. With welding simulation, students can really see what they're doing before they do it in the real world. This is a way for them to build skill. It's very important in welding so that they learn the whys of proper manipulation and form and the consequences of improper form. Then, once a student has learned the basics and moved into the booth, we offer a live welding experience that gives in-helmet guidance as the student is actually welding. This helps the student as they weld to practice in proper form and at the same time frees up your instructor to work with other students. So that's a look at our welding products and our trades and industrial. Also, in the world of facts, that was our premier Real Care Baby product. We've come a long way since Mary and Rick Germain started with Real Care Baby. The simulation has taught literally millions of students how to care for an infant and has led to child care careers across the world. We have expanded our product line in areas of facts into culinary and foods and other great simulations. So now we're left with the opportunity. How to do that? How do we reimagine what our CTE programs look like? A few years ago, telecommunications companies began touting 5G. Remember, I talked about that with the healthcare stuff and how it would change everything for us. A couple of years ago, they began selling to us phone devices that would work on the 5G network. But for the most part, we don't fully understand how this will impact our daily and working lives. We have to look at our students this way in that we don't know what their future will bring us. But we have to prepare students by giving them access to the most modern technologies and experiences that we can. That brings us back to what does your quality list look like? So there are 12 components to a highly effective CTE program. We focused on these four. So what does your quality checklist look like? Are you offering in your programs engaging instruction? Is that skill-based hands-on learning that prepares students for analyzing data? Are they doing that? Standards aligned curriculum with learning resources aligned to industry certifications, not necessarily to get the certification, but aligned to that. Access and equity. All students have access to new and emerging technologies and techniques. And are you bringing the students who need these programs the most to those students? And student centered development, focus on growth and are they prepared for the next step? When you evaluate your programs for facilities, tech, and materials, do I have more than just the same basic equipment as the future workplace? Do I just have welders? Do I just have basic equipment? Do I include skill building simulation that will give my students a deeper understanding so they can better analyze the data? Engaging instruction. How is my instructor delivering instruction to students? Are they engaged in hands-on learning every day, or are they watching PowerPoints all day? How are they doing these things? Do they have manipulatives? Do they have models of cows on days they can't go to the farm? Standards aligned integrated curriculum. Is there industry validated technical standards meshed with hands on learning resources to increase that skill understanding? Access and equity. Am I targeting the right students in my programs? And student centered development. Am I giving students what they need as they enter the workforce or their next step toward a future ready career? Or am I just looking beyond just the expertise of my instructor? What do I need to do to prepare? Are my students adequately prepared for their futures that will be filled with data, analytics, and new technologies? And are you providing a quality program that prepares them? We have the expertise here at Reality Works. Contact us for an in-depth consultation so that you can better evaluate your programs and create an enhanced learning environment for your students. We're focused on the learning and skill building aspects of your program within those four core pathways. We can expect more so that this generation we have now, be it a rocket scientist and a family and consumer science teacher, can imagine the next innovation that will change how we all thrive in the future.